Hey guys, I wanted to make a special type of video today because I've reached enlightenment and inner peace that I wanted to give back to the community by donating all my stuff and giving all my money away to the nearest orphanage. In other words, unless if I get interrupted or distracted by something stupid, off to the nearest orphanage I go. That's just one comment. There's no way that's real. That sounds ridiculous. Okay, that's two comments, but surely that's just a coincidence. There's no way this is actually a real thing. A general rule I go by is if something happens one time, that's just a thing that happens. If it happens 2 times, it's coincidence. If it happens 3 times, it's a pattern. And because it's not going to happen well, 3 comments about the exact same thing may be unlikely, but it's not impossible. Plus, a coincidence like this happening 3 times has a far greater likelihood of a My Little Pony live action movie actually being a thing. Alright, fine. I'll look into this, and I'll look it up, and I'll prove to you guys that this ridiculous idea isn't actually real. Okay. It helps nobody to react irrationally before giving things a fair shot, so let's give this attached article a read. Exclusive. My Little Pony live action movie in the works from Hasbro and Amazon MGM Studios. Plus my take on this morning's Emmy nominations, Cameron Diaz's return to Netflix, Kenneth Lonergan's comeback, and Nosferatu Hey, who cares about the rest of that? Just tell me about the ponies. Happy Tuesday, folks. Last night, a friend came over and recommended we watch a Belgian-French thriller titled Night Call from director I don't care! I don't care! What kind of article is this? The only thing even remotely related to the headline is tonight you'll read a scoop about the next My Little Pony movie, as well as my reaction to this morning's Emmy nomination. That offers us no information. We're gonna have to look deeper. Live action My Little Pony movie in the works from Amazon, MGM, and Hasbro. Okay, this paragraph here is technically fluff that doesn't offer any information about the movie, only around it. But at least this is actually about My Little Pony. This will be the first live-action project for the 43-year-old property, which has captivated several generations with its rainbow-hued No, let us not forget the monstrosity that is the EG Stomp video.
Introducing the EG Stomp! Ooh, yeah. We're equestria girls and we're here.
I will never let that go. That's disgusting. Anyways, the article goes on to say, while the toys originally appealed mostly to girls, the 2010 series My Little Pony Friendship is Magic lured a new type of fans. Teenaged and adult men who dubbed themselves bronies. Repulsive. Sounds like a group of people I don't ever want to belong in, let alone make videos for. What I do want is this article to give us some actual information about the movie. Is it so taboo for a headline and the article to actually be about the same thing? Well, this next paragraph seems to have her back. Wait, did they seriously spell entertainment wrong here? Entertainment? Are you serious? This article concludes with the news was first reported by the Insider, which is the article that we just saw earlier. Therefore, this article ultimately provides no new information. 3rd time's the charm, right? How about this article? My Little Pony gallops into live action with upcoming movie from Amazon, MGM, and Hasbro. My Little Pony is trotting into a new medium. The decades-old franchise, which has generated a bevy of toys, animated movies, TV shows, and more since its inception, is getting the live-action treatment for the first time, Variety reports. Man, the article here is the one that we just talked about. So from this, I think we get the point by now. None of these articles really have any new information to offer us. Therefore, the only place we can really take it from here is wild mass guessing. And what would separate a good guess from a bad guess would be to take what we know about previous precedents and try to notice any patterns to see if we should have high hopes or not. For example, if we take a sample size of live action adaptations and they have any themes or directions exclusive to the live action adaptation genre in common that make up a good movie, this My Little Pony movie should also have that quality. Inversely, if there's any bad decisions involving live action adaptations in specific have it in common, this movie should obviously avoid those same pitfalls. Thus, the most reasonable course of action would be to watch other live action movies based off other animated properties and see what they have in common. However, I don't know if this is always so cut and dry because there seems to be about 3 or 4 different possible directions to take a live-action My Little Pony movie. Option 1, to feature a pony or ponies in the human world. Think of this one like the Smurf movies or the Sonic ones, you know, where an animated character steps outside of their magical distant lands to be a fish out of water while interacting with humans and human beings. If done well, this could lead to some unique interactions and perspectives, but if done bad, like the first Smurfs movie, you put too much emphasis on like the whole humans instead of the CGI goblins because, you know, humans are obviously cheaper and easier to film. But judging by how this is a modern day My Little Pony feature, I would not be too surprised if management thinks it's more efficient to, you know, cut corners and show off as little of the actual ponies on screen as possible. Option 2, feature a human or humans in the pony world. Think of this one like a Minecraft movie, where it's the opposite of the first option, where it's like a human being transported into a distant realm to deal with things of that world. On one hand, this would take a lot more effort since they'll have to make an entire environment from scratch instead of like throwing a character off into New York City or whatever. So even if the movie itself isn't all that great, actually, no, scratch that. Whether it's ponies in the human world or humans in the pony world, that completely contradicts the fundamental rules that are established in Equestria Girls, where what species you are is dictated by the world you're in. Though that's only if this adaptation takes place in the same canon as Friendship is Magic, but this leads into our next option, 3. To have this movie literally only take place in the pony world. Think of this one as like the freaking The Lion King live action remake, where it's technically just super realistic CGI. The thing with this is that if this is what they went with, that would imply that the ponies would have to look like real life ponies. So we can cross this one out completely, because why would they build this as a live action if it didn't have either human characters or super realistic or real horses to play the ponies? Which leads us to the 4th option, which I think is the least likely option, but would unfortunately also be the least stupid decision, I think. Or at least in the context of justifying a live action title. 4, the whole movie only takes place in the human world. I know this sounds stupid, as if the whole idea of a live action My Little Pony movie doesn't, but stick with me here. So years and years and years ago, it was announced that there was a live action Tetris movie in development. Of course, at the time, I was thinking, how the frick are they going to make a movie based off of Tetris, let alone a live action one? Still, I kept an open mind for it because I genuinely want to know how you're going to stretch a lore plot thing out of this. Sounds ridiculous, right? After some time passed, I went back to check up on it, just to be met with the disappointing realization that this movie doesn't take place in Tetris canon, but it was rather a biopic about the making of Tetris. That's lame. However, judging by the fact that there was apparently an actual story to be told there, albeit with some Hollywood alterations and embellishments, the fact that there was still somewhat of a story to be told tells me that this ain't the worst way to go about this, especially because I'm sure there's some story to be told in a movie format about the creation and rise of My Little Pony as a franchise. And I don't mean just the rise of like Friendship is Magic and brony culture. I mean like from day one. There's probably stories in the development worth telling in a movie format. Obviously, I'm not saying this is what I think they're gonna go with. What I am saying is that live action My Little Pony movie could literally mean anything at this point, including nothing at all, actually. Because there's technically a 5th option, which is like I said about precedent and guessing where this movie may head, not only do we have other presumably similar live-action adaptations to go by, but we also have past works of Hasbro movies. Now, what if I told you that Hasbro has a bit of a habit of announcing live-action movies to not even go through with them, such as the Furby movie. Yes, there was supposed to be a Furby movie. Now, I don't know anything about Furbies, except for the fact that they look creepy, so I think this would have been a hilarious watch, but they just never went through with it. They also announced a Monopoly movie that seems to be stuck in development hell and has been for 16 years. There was also supposed to be a live-action Beyblade movie that we haven't heard anything about since its inception 3 years ago. And last but not least, the one that I personally want to see the most, I mean, aside from the Furby one, is there was supposed to be a Play-Doh movie. How the hell do you make a movie about Play-Doh? But yeah, it was announced in 2015 just for it to get canceled. Then they re-announced it in 2022 and nobody knows anything about it. Now, obviously, there's way more movies that they did end up going through rather than the ones they haven't, such as like the Transformers movies. But the ones that I mentioned were canceled are pretty big franchises. I'm sure you have at least one or more of those things that I listed in your house right now. So even if they have more movies than the ones that they've canceled, this habit of canceling things doesn't seem to mean nothing. Now, with all that aside, also screw the kids in the orphanage. I've given up on that. This is more important. So now that leads to the question: what do I think the movie will be about? Actually, let me break this question up into 2 bits first. What do I want the movie about? If someone came up to me, if Hasbro came up to me and said, "F, you're awesome, you're sexy, you're humble, you're smart, you're funny, you're cute, you're adorable. You're creative. You're a genius. You're good at writing. Here's some money. Make us a live-action My Little Pony movie. What would I make it about? Well, if I was in charge of the movie, it'd be more of a psychological thriller where it's about this like neckbeard guy who can't talk to women, who has no friends. He has a job at like, I don't know, a fast food place. So he has a little bit of money, but he spends most of his days in his basement watching My Little Pony. Until one day, he gets an unhealthy obsession and a crush on a certain pony. And this turns into a really unhealthy obsession to the point where he's like, okay, it doesn't matter if I have 0 female interactions a day or 1,000. I'm gonna devote myself to my pony waifu. And the whole movie is trying to build a portal to Equestria. And somehow at the end, he actually succeeds. But then when he crosses the portal to look for his waifu, they talk a bit, they get along. But the resolution of the movie will be the waifu accidentally going through the portal and going into the human world. And then the portal just shuts off completely forever. Now we got the main character in Equestria who's vowed to never date any other pony. So he's going to die alone just thinking about the waifu that he had a chance with. But now she's like blocked off from ever talking to him ever because she's in the human world. And then we got this pony girl who's in the human world, wants to now learn the ropes of being a human, who kind of got screwed over by the guy that had a crush on her. I think can be viewed and analyzed as a metaphor for how if you have unrequited crushes to an unhealthy degree, all it does is screw both of you guys over. Now, obviously, that's how I would do it. And no, it's not based off of me. It's not based off of anyone I know. I'm not projecting here. I just think it would be hilarious. On the other hand, what do I think the movie will actually be about? I don't know, some thing for little girls because that's what the franchise is for. But whatever they go with, I'm not even like expecting an all ages thing. I wouldn't like mind if it's for little girls because it's their business. But what I do hope for is some actual care and heart to go into it. For example, there's franchises and movies and things that a lot of people like, but just isn't for me. But I can definitely see has heart going into it, and I can at least appreciate it for that. I want this movie to at least be that. Now, the big question is, earlier I said, if this takes place in Friendship is Magic canon, then the whole human and ponies interacting thing wouldn't make sense. But the reason I said if is because Hasbro really seems to like be hating themselves based off the fact that they decide to continue G5 with the fact that they decide to end G4 and start G5 and nobody liking G5. It seems to have like made them kind of rethink their direction. I think it's disgusting how if you go onto like the My Little Pony YouTube channel, all of their newer videos will be about G4 instead of G5, even though G4's been cancelled and G5 has also been cancelled, but it's technically their more current thing, so that should be what they're pushing out. But they're not. And I don't think I'm being unreasonable when I say, as a company, that's an embarrassment. The fact that they cancel G4 and then they go on with G5, yet nobody likes G5, and the fact that they literally come back with their tails between their legs, pun intended, and go back to posting G4 stuff, that's an embarrassment for them. So I would hope that they learn their lesson on trying to retread G4 and risking it to be something that nobody likes. I would hope that they would just take that energy and make something new and like good. And I'm not saying bring G4 back either. Let's let that thing rest. I'm saying genuinely just make new stuff. I'm looking forward to new stuff. Like Hasbro, nobody's gonna hate you for making new stuff. But speaking of which, I found this Reddit post from 2023 asking, what if Hasbro got so greedy they make My Little Pony in live action? This aged perfectly. Other than that, let me know what you guys think this movie will be about or what you want it to be about. And that aside, I'm going to step out of character. Let me just take this off. Take this off. And take this off. I'm still gonna keep the hat on though. Just to break character for a bit. Thank you guys so much. We're really close to 50k subs, and that's pretty cool. I think that is a milestone that deserves some celebration. I don't exactly know what I want to do, especially because we're so close to it, and we'll probably hit it after this video comes out. I was thinking of doing a room tour for 50k. I don't know if that's something you guys will be interested in. Definitely note down in the comments. Or if you have any different ideas for a 50k sub special, let me know. I'm very open to suggestions. Other than that, I want to thank you guys for watching and liking and commenting all this time. I go down in the comments and I see people like being concerned for me, asking me if I'm okay because of, you know, the black eye thing that I put on. But just for clarification and transparency's sake, I'm playing a character. I'm sure me telling you guys this will put a lot of people at ease. But no, if you look back in my videos, there's a low reason for it. Plus, every time I used to draw myself, like years ago before I even started this channel, I would draw myself with a black eye for some reason because I thought it added like color to my face. No, I thought it does. So I thought I would add it because it adds to my character design. Don't worry, I'm fine. I don't like I act over the top in my videos. I act like an unapologetic jerk, which I mean is a part of my personality, but also at the same time amping it up just to be funny, to be playing a engaging thing. But I wanted to step out of character for a second to just, you know, genuinely thank you guys. I appreciate your concerns. That's very kind of you guys. Not only that, but you guys are awesome and you're making my dream career a reality. which is awesome. Let this be inspiration to you guys as well, because if you told me like even a week before I started this channel, not even like started this channel, even like a week into starting this channel where my videos haven't popped off yet, yeah, I would have thought you were crazy. But no, it's real. So if you have any dream careers, whether it's content creation or like an actual job, go for it. And don't forget that the you of tomorrow will thank you of today for doing the work that you did today. That makes sense, right? Let's try to live a life with less regrets, right? I mean, if I can do it, you guys can too. Speaking of you guys, I want to thank each and every one of you guys individually and personally for watching my stuff, subscribing, and sticking with me through all these years. And I want to give thanks to my friends and family and God for getting me as far as I have. You know, honestly, this right now may as well be the 50K sub special. Anyways, yeah, no, this channel's just getting started. I have plenty more video ideas and I have plenty more videos in the works right now. So, stick around. So, stick around. So, stick around. So, stick around.